I know this might be a bit of a shocking revelation for some people, but you don't have to make everybody like you for you to still be a good person. You have to be okay with being perceived wrong, otherwise you're going to live your life for other people and you're never going to really get to know yourself. Hey you guys, I'm back. I am currently in a different location, that's why I have this sleigh backdrop, and I just feel like I need to talk to the camera, so I'm just going to do that. And my voice sounds crazy, I don't know how this happened, I'm not even ill. I just somehow have a raspy voice, so you're going to have to deal with that. Let's get into the video. I know it's really hard to grasp, but you don't have to make people like you for you to like yourself. I feel like, especially as a woman, like I've always grown up with people telling me, like, if people don't like you, then there must be a reason why, and that's like a personal reason, like that's like a you problem. But it's actually not a you problem. Like, how many times have you watched a TV show or you've listened to a podcast and you've been like, I just don't like this, like I just don't like this person, like, I just don't catch their vibe, I'm just not feeling it. It doesn't mean you hate them, it doesn't mean they have anything wrong with themselves, it purely just means like, you're just not feeling the vibe, and that's fine. So why don't we apply that to real life and realize, hey, just because somebody doesn't like me doesn't mean that I'm a horrible person and I should never speak to anybody again. I think our anxiety creeps in a lot, especially when it's about like us as a person, and when somebody says they don't like you or you hear someone like talking about you or something, you can take that really personally because obviously it's about you, so you would assume that it would be your fault and your problem to think about that and like analyze all the reasons why they wouldn't like you and why they perceive me like that. Like, that's not what I'm like. Like, maybe somebody said that you're rude and you're like, no, I'm not, I'm literally not rude. Maybe they just had a bad experience, or like they just think that for some random reason. Like, there doesn't need to be an explanation for everything. You don't have to try and conceptualize everything and analyze everything. Sometimes it is purely just someone's perception, and that's fine. It's not fair of you to think that everybody is just gonna like you immediately and catch your vibe, and everybody should have that freedom to express their opinion. And yeah, obviously you don't want people talking bad about you or like saying bad things or being mean to you, and that's obviously not a nice thing, but at the end of the day you can't control that, and that has nothing to do with you. And the sooner you realize that other people's perceptions of you have nothing to do with you, the better. You can't control everyone around you and you can't control people's opinions, and no matter how hard you try to be this like great person and you try and post on Instagram and you try and make yourself look really cool and really awesome and like, oh, she's so fun, she's so friendly, she's so nice, sometimes people will just hate you for no reason, and that is actually okay, you guys. I think it can hurt a lot when people say that you did something that you didn't do, or maybe they misunderstood your actions or your words and they just aren't understanding what you're saying, and that can be so frustrating because it's like, I'm trying to tell you something, I'm trying to communicate something to you, and you're just taking it as me being rude or me being rash, and like you're just not understanding my communication style, or maybe like your communication styles just don't mix. But it's like, if you have tried your best to be a good person, a nice person, a genuine person, that's all you can really do. There's nothing else you can really put on yourself to sort of make somebody else like you, and you shouldn't have to. You shouldn't want to make people like you. You shouldn't want to be yourself. You shouldn't want to make people like you. You should want to be yourself, and for you to be yourself, not everyone is gonna like you. I guarantee you, every single famous person, or every single person who has a platform in any way or a community in any way has people that don't like them. Like, when I got my first hate comment on YouTube, I was like, I'm literally famous, because like, if you're polarizing, that is so much more interesting than everybody just liking you. I would so much rather someone be like, oh, I hate her, and somebody be like, oh my god, I love her, she's so great, she's so funny, and be that polarizing person, than be someone who's just like, oh yeah, she's okay, because I'm trying to fit into everyone's boxes, and so therefore I don't have a personality. Like, I know who I am, and so that's what really matters to me. And if people don't understand what I'm saying, or if I'm trying to communicate something and somebody is not receiving that in the way that I want them to, that's completely fine. Maybe they just don't understand, that's okay. Like, that's not on me to sort of analyze and have anxiety about. That's actually okay. I think it's especially hard in relationships when you're like trying your best to be everything and more, and like be the person that you want them to like think that you are, or like, I want them to think I'm so great and so loyal and so trusting and like everything that they want. But sometimes you can go like so far left field that you kind of just forget what you want, and you're like, wait, do I actually even want this person to like me? Do I actually even care that this person likes me or understands what I'm saying, or are they being mean to me and I'm just trying to fit into their box so that it doesn't happen again? You know what I mean? Like, maybe you just need to look at this scenario from like an eagle-eyed view and just be like, hey, this is actually not my problem. Like, none of this is my issue, none of this is my fault, and I can just remove myself from the situation. It's important to remember that we are seeing our own selves and our own lives from a very selfish perspective, and that's obviously not our fault because that's the only perception that we have. But you have to understand that people do not know your full story. People don't know every single thing about you. They don't know that the way that you talk in this manner is because of this thing that happened when you were a kid, or the way that you always want to be talking when you're out with your friends because maybe no one listened to you when you were younger. Like, they don't know that. So they might take that and then in their own story, maybe when they were younger, everyone listened to them talk, so they have an understanding of, okay, when somebody else talks, I be quiet and I don't interrupt. But that's not how your family dynamic works. And so to them, maybe you are rude. Like, maybe from their perception of life and of understanding that conversation, you are being rude. And like, that's not your fault, and that's actually okay. And if they don't vocalize that to you, like, that's literally not your problem at all. But I think it's important to just understand that, like, everyone is living their own lives and nobody thinks about you as much as they think about themselves. Just the same way that you don't think about anyone as much as you think about yourself. Like, you're a selfish person and that's fine, like, that's okay, so is everybody. But you cannot be like, oh my god, everyone hates me, everyone's thinking about me. Like, no, they're not, babe. Like, that is so self-centered. Like, no one is thinking about you. Maybe someone thinks about you for like 5 seconds and that's it. But like, nobody's actually thinking about you as much as you think. So you can actually just be the person you want to be, and you don't have to be what everybody thinks you should be. And even if you did do everything right, like in your whole life, and you cater to everybody else's feelings and emotions, and you're like, okay, they like that, so I'm gonna be like that with them, and like, I'm gonna be like this with that person, I'm gonna be different for everyone, and I'm gonna be, you know, palatable for everyone, and everyone's gonna be like, oh, she's so tasteful, she's so great, like, in their own lives, someone will still dislike you. You can do everything right and someone will still dislike you. Trying to please everyone is not a game that you're gonna win, and so what is even the point of playing, you guys? When you get to a point where you stop thinking, what will other people think of me if I do this thing, so many more opportunities will open up for you. Whatever it is you want to do in your life, there is going to be people that think it is weird or think it is different because they aren't doing it themselves and they don't understand it, and that's completely fine. The sooner you realize that being vulnerable and putting yourself out there in a different way is the best thing that will grow you as a person and help you to understand yourself, that is when you'll really become yourself and you'll really become a happier person. I don't think confidence is getting everyone to like you and being liked all the time. I think confidence is being yourself unapologetically, and as long as you know that you're being a kind person and you've done everything you can to be yourself and to be genuine, then you can be a happy person in the end. I do think some people take it a little bit too far, like especially in this day and age of like social media and like self-care, where it's like, no, I'm not gonna go to my friend's birthday party because I want a self-care day, and it's like, ooh, that's actually not what you should be doing. Like, I do still think it's important to take accountability for things and, you know, be there for other people and not always just think about yourself in this like selfish bubble that you live in. But at the same time, like, just balance that, you know, like there's an in-between. Like, you don't have to either be like so selfish that you don't even show up for your friends or like your family or anything, and then the other side where you're like so anxious about what everyone thinks about you and if everybody likes you all the time. Like, there's a happy medium, and that's where we're gonna sit, in the happy medium. I also think it's important to note that growth looks really different from the outside looking in. Like, people that you might have known in school and you now see them on Instagram maybe, and you're like, wow, they're so different, like that's so weird. But it's like, no, they've been through like 9 years of change and you just haven't seen that. So maybe if you knew them as a person, you wouldn't think it was weird. Maybe you'd think, oh, that's so them, and I'm so happy that they have found their calling, you know? So it's like, maybe just as quick as you are to judge other people, like people are that quick to judge you, and maybe you should kind of like, you know, give yourself time to sort of break that habit for yourself. Because if you don't like other people perceiving you wrong, maybe you should stop perceiving other people. Like, why do you even care what other people are doing? Whether you're living your dream life or you're not even there yet, you don't know what your dream life even looks like, either way, like, you shouldn't be judging other people, and you obviously don't want to be judged yourself, so it's a two-way street. But I just think it's so important to realize that it's not your fault that people perceive you wrong, because journeys look different from the outside, and you can see that through other people. Like, go and look at somebody that you haven't talked to in 10 years and look at their Instagram or their Facebook or whatever, and you'll realize, oh, like, maybe I'm judging them right now, but like, I don't know them as a person at all. Maybe I knew them when they were 15, yeah, but like, that is a different person. Like, when you're 15 and when you're like 25, that is gonna be such a huge difference in your personality. And like, you might find something that you love doing and people would be like, oh, I never expected that from her, but like, maybe that's just you, you know? And also, when you're younger, you do really try and cater to other people. So when you grow up and you actually find yourself and you realize, wait, I don't even want to do that thing that everybody thought I was really good at. I actually want to do this thing. People might be like, oh, why is she doing that? She used to be really like smart at maths. Why is she doing marketing? And it's like, well, maybe that's not what I want to do anymore. Maybe I want to make videos, you know? Ask yourself who genuinely knows you and understands you, and those are the only people whose opinions should matter to you. If you have close friends who've known you your whole life and you are trusting around and you love being around, if they tell you, hey, you're acting really rude right now, or you're acting really different, like what's up? That is the people who you want to be looking out for, not some random person on Instagram who's like, ew, why is she wearing that? Why is she doing that? Those people's opinions do not matter, you guys. Casual acquaintances or strangers do not get to dictate whether you're living your life how you want it to be lived. I'm still learning this, you know, this isn't something that you just learn once and then you just carry through your whole life. Like, it's a journey, and that is what life is. Life is a journey, and you just have to kind of, you know, bring in all these lessons and be like, oh, I want to learn that and apply that to my life. And like every day you just kind of show up in that way. And I think this is one of those things where it's like, you can notice yourself judging other people in the same way that you think they're judging you, and you can realize, wait, I don't think about these random people at all. So why do I think they're thinking about me? Maybe take that into consideration. I don't think anyone has mastered this, but maybe one day we will master it. Maybe one day we'll be like, I don't care what anyone thinks. Because I still have those days where I'm like, oh my god, people probably think I'm such a freak. Like, I feel like I'm so different, and when I post videos, sometimes they're not that good. And sometimes I don't think it's my best work, but I'm like, I just want to show up for myself and do the thing I said I was going to do. And like, for me, that makes me happy. And once I have posted a video, even if it's not my best video ever, I still feel better about my life. So that's all that really matters, and other people's opinion on that doesn't really count. Thank you so much for watching my video. I hope somebody took something from this, and I'm sorry if my voice sounds crazy because I actually can't hear it, but yeah, I think it's just good to talk when I want to talk and, you know, do the things I want to do, so that's why I'm doing this. I've been having kind of a hard week, but I wanted to still show up for myself in this, so that's why I made this video. So thank you so much if you watched this far, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.